The Dead by Daylight developers have implemented an interesting new core objective called the blood generator. Rather than sticking to a generator like glue for 90 seconds, blood generators require survivors to first fill up gas cans at blood pumps scattered around the map, then transport them to blood generators. This new approach has stirred a lot of controversy in the community, with some people complaining that it's an unnecessary extra step, while others praise it for how liberating it feels to move around more. But let's imagine for a moment that these blood generators wind up replacing the ones we have now. What would the deeper implications to both survivors and killers' gameplay be? For survivors, blood generators would transform the game into a more dynamic and stealth-based experience. The blood cans survivors carry around are essentially the equivalent of the perk potential energy. They store repair progress that the survivor decides when and how to use, and the blood pumps around the map become new gathering areas, which reduce the probability of killers finding survivors merely by patrolling generators. Although this makes the process of repairing generators more versatile, there is a heightened risk of being detected by the killer, as transporting blood cans requires more movement and makes more noise than running around empty-handed. Players also run the risk of losing the blood collected if they move quickly or get chased. And unlike traditional generators, after a chase ends, survivors can't simply start repairing the nearest generator. They must take extra time and risk finding a blood pump and delivering blood again. So when adding up all of these factors, survivors will naturally lean more towards stealth-based gameplay to ensure they can repair blood generators without interruption. Killers, meanwhile, would have to adapt to new strategies. Patrolling generators won't be enough anymore, as survivors won't be found there as often. Adjusting patrol routes, predicting blood can transportation routes, and memorizing pump locations will become essential for hindering survivors' progress. Additionally, tracking and detection perks will become more important, as survivors holding blood cans can simply hide if the killer's nearby. Blood cans also enable gen rushing strategies to be more effective, as 3 survivors can camp a single pump, wait for the killer to leave their area, then repair the blood generator in a fraction of the time as a normal generator. It also doesn't help that generator regression perks don't work on blood generators, but I think the developers will fix that if they decide to replace the current generators with these. Also, certain killers like Doctor, Wraith, and Hag will be played more often, as the prevalence of stealth-based survivor gameplay and increased map traversal will make their powers more useful. But what do I think about blood generators? Well, I've been waiting years for the developers to give players a new core objective that doesn't force them to sit in one place for 90 seconds. So I like this idea more than what we have. That being said, there are issues with the blood generators that need to be addressed. Many perks, add-ons, and killer powers have become obsolete due to their inability to interact with the new generators, and the impact these new objectives will have on the metagame needs to be watched and balanced closely. Skill checks are another issue, as they currently don't exist when filling up blood cans or repairing generators, but that seems like an easy fix. Overall, I think blood generators add more strategy to DBD, and I find them more fun to play around than what we have now. If they ever become more than just an event objective, I think their issues could be addressed relatively easily, given enough time, data, and player feedback. The developers could even invent new perks, powers, and game mechanics that revolve around them. So personally, I'm crossing my fingers that they'll become a permanent change sometime in the future. Anyways, thanks for watching. Do you like these new objectives? Share your thoughts in the comments below.